Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chasing Psychological Safety. We're speaking about leadership today. We know we do often, we know we say this a lot, but it doesn't seem that anything has really changed since we said this the last time, which is the higher we go up the hierarchy of an enterprise, the more likely it is that we do no longer encounter teams. And that is dramatic because obviously if you don't have a team, you can't have psychological safety. If you don't have a team, you don't have psychological safety. You sure don't have performance as a group. So we wrote an article yesterday that was tackling some of this. It was also tackling the reason why this is even more so at the top and the underlying reasons as to why we don't have teams. And it always, as usual, boils down to fear. In fact, almost every other negative thing that you can think of boils down to fear eventually. So it's no surprise that it is about fear of loss of status, fear of loss of job, fear of loss of monetary gain, or just in general, fear of the unknown and fear of creating a dynamic that has never existed before. Because unfortunately, traditionally, the very senior execs that are coming together to be an exec team have so much on their plate and such different demands on their time that they very rarely stop to think, am I doing this with these people, or am I simply status reporting at them when we get together? And we wrote about this before. One of the most telling signs of this is if you check what executives are doing before one of these leadership meetings or board meetings, it's almost always something that would bring their level of impression management down, something to appease the way they look, the way they appear to others, the way that their status is upheld in the way they present themselves, and very little time is spent thinking, what are we solving together? What are we attempting to make happen? It's just never having the framework of collaboratively arriving at something, but more of just newsletter-like reporting to each other. So that obviously trickles down in all kinds of things, and we see the effects of it everywhere. But realistically, if we want to see a change in the amount of human debt that we have to find ways that we have teams and teaming at the leadership level.
Absolutely. And one of the key steps to take when you worked out that something's missing, something's not right, something could be better if we fronted up to it at the very senior leadership team level, is to just take a real simple conversation. A conversation that says, are we a real team or are we a work group? So once you've worked out that, things could possibly be better if you actually started working together as a team, that's what you think. Now you've got to find out what everybody else thinks. So, a real straightforward conversation, put a continuum up on the wall with real team and work group. A real team being a team that, works together towards shared objectives, has collective purpose, understands each other's needs, shares knowledge, learns together as much as possible. And a work group being a group of individuals that report into the same person, but have no real reason to cross over or collaborate. Where does everybody put their post-it note on that continuum? And once you've had a look at that and had just a bit of an honest conversation about actually, we call ourselves a team, but we're closer to a work group. What often, and I wouldn't wish to predict, but what often happens out of that conversation is a realization that maybe life would be better for ourselves individually, for our businesses, for our people, if we were more of a real team and we started to move ourselves up that continuum. And there's some really useful existing exercises and work that you can do straight away. There's the work of Amy Edmondson on psychological safety on teams. There's the work of Heidi Helvand on dynamic teaming and reteaming. And then, of course, there's our work as well. Anything that we've written or filmed about with regards to, pulling teams together quickly, creating a sense of shared purpose, shared vision, shared objectives, shared goals, all of that, creating engagement in the team, that more of an emotional bond. And then obviously, most importantly, exercises that allow you to be more vulnerable with each other, which is generally what's missing at the very senior and executive levels in businesses. And if we can just start to shift the needle on some of those things, you'll find that you really start to reap the benefits of being more of a real team at that level. And it's okay to say that the benefit is for you, because you've got to start somewhere, and starting with self usually is the first step to getting into being a better team. But the benefits that your people and your business could reap may well be beyond even what you can imagine at this stage.
Yes, indeed. It's very easy to get going. Start a conversation. Are we a team? Are we a work group? There's no wrong answers, but the more you know you're a work group, the more you're going to be ideally wanting to do to become a team. And again, there are very clear and simple things to do so you become a team. It's not an impossible task. It's not a given state that cannot be altered. There are very clear things that you can and should be doing. We have some of these plays in our software, and which is one of the reasons why we are very keen, even at the trial level, when we do sell our software to big enterprise, that they get at least one management/leadership team to be using the software, because the effect of moving that team along from being simply a reporting group to being an actual team that's working together and has had some teaming under their belt are stupendous, and they are unimaginable. Just simply start the conversation, do a couple of things that will bring you together, and then take it from there and try and normalize this as part of your work as a team. And we believe you're going to see the effect without a doubt. In particular, now we were talking about this earlier, when we know that the biggest to-do that leaders have on their plate these days is, in particular with the acceleration that's been brought about by COVID and the unstable VUCA world around us, is to move from command and control into servant leadership. In particular now, when this is the imperative, we can no longer just come report because we've whipped people into shape, we've acquired some results and we're going to come talk about them. We are now in a position where we have to help, we have to understand, we have to all do the heavy lifting together as a team. So servant leaders need teams. We all need teams. Find a way to change your work group into a team. Use, again, our software, use everything that Amy Edmondson has been working on, and we're sure you're going to get there. Let us know how you go and if we can help with anything, and have a lovely week until we talk to you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.